Put that coffee down.
I'm not here to waste your time, okay? I certainly hope you're not here to waste mine. So I'm gonna keep this short.
Helen, we're both in sales. Let me tell you why I suck as a salesman.
The most valuable commodity I know of is information. Wouldn't you agree?
Coffee's for closers only.
Hey there, friend. Welcome back to the Behind Your Back podcast with me, Bradley Hartman. We're sponsored by Boise Cascade Engineered Wood Products. They help you move faster and build stronger, making it easier to get more done. And our friends at Materials Exchange. Materials Exchange is the LBM Industries answer to E-Trade. It is your digital marketplace for lumber and panels. Well, I'm excited to share today's episode with you, and I think you've made a good choice in sticking around and investing your time and attention with this for a couple different reasons. Number one, this is the first article that I wrote for the SBC magazine, the Structural Building Components magazine, and I was excited to partner with them. I did a keynote, the last event they did for their BCMC show, which was in Columbus, Ohio, and really found a lot of kindred spirits. There are people willing to think differently, act differently, and finding ways to bring in the building community, the components community, bringing in dealers, bringing in distributors, to really trying to bring everyone together to solve big problems, and I was a big fan of that. So they reached out and inquired about starting a sales column in the SBC magazine, something that they have not done in quite some time. So I was thrilled to kind of jump at that opportunity and partner with them on this. Secondarily, dude, we're talking about baseball. It's the start of the baseball season and lots of fun there. So we're going to dive into that and tie some of these ideas and concepts that are relevant in baseball and Hollywood as it relates to movies for this episode. So this episode is titled Challenging Your Major League Assumptions. As always, thanks for listening. For decades, Hollywood clutched a hard-earned insight. Baseball movies don't sell. A few exceptions proved the rule. So we're going to play a little game here. I'd like you to play along if you'd like. We're going to play 3 movie clips from some of the greatest baseball movies of all time, and there ain't that many of them. All right, so I'm going to play a clip, and you have to do 2 things. All right, the first is, can you name the title of that clip, and then can you answer a short follow-up question? So I've got 3 movies. Here we go with clip number 1.
People all say that I've had a bad break. But today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
All right, so that was clip number 1. So the question is, can you name the title of that 1942 movie? We're using the honor system. Do not use your friend Gary Google to look that up. The secondary question to that is the star of that movie, the actual baseball player. What record does he currently still hold? He actually holds 2 of them, but they are somewhat related. So there you go. That's first question number 1. Can you name the title of that movie and the individual that movie is about? What record does he still hold today? All right, that's number 1. Here is movie clip number 2.
I didn't even know it was your car. This dumb thing parking it so close to the field anyway.
All right, boys, let's get back to basics. This is a baseball. The object of the game is to keep the baseball within the confines of the playing field.
Wait a minute. What about throw? You don't think we know what a ball is? I don't think I like to catch it. Yeah, come on, wait.
All right, same set of questions here. Do you know the name of that 1976 movie? And do you know the character's name played by Walter Matthau in that movie? What was the character's name? He has a somewhat memorable name that, well, at least it's memorable to me. So do you know the name of that movie from 1976? And do you know the main character's last name? If you know the first name, extra bonus points for you. The last name of the primary character. All right, and here's the third and final movie clip.
Let me talk to you just a minute. He has, Pop. You said so yourself if you ever found anybody decent.
I know, Red, but look at this guy. We don't need no
college rookies.
Okay, final questions for this third clip. A, do you remember the name of that movie? It's from 1984. And number 2, the main character. Do you remember the name of his bat? That's right. The name of his bat had a very memorable name, carved it in himself from a maple tree that fell down or something like that. All right, want me to play them again? I won't. You can just rewind and listen to it again. Here are the answers. The first clip was from 1942, The Pride of the Yankees. That was Lou Gehrig. And to this day, Lou Gehrig holds the highest ratio of runs scored, so number of times he crossed the plate, and number of RBIs, runs batted in. He holds the highest ratio for runs scored and RBI per 100 plate appearances and 100 games. So what does that mean? Yeah, it means he's the greatest first baseman of all time. All right, what about the second clip? Yes, that was the Bad News Bears from 1976, starring Walter Matthau and Tatum O'Neal. The second question, what was his name? His name was Morris Buttermaker. That's right, Buttermaker. Morris Buttermaker. It's a wonderful name. All right, and the third clip, that was, of course, from 1984, The Natural. And the name of Roy Hobbs's bat, Wonder Boy. Wonder Boy. How'd you do on those? I know they weren't easy, but there you go. All right, that's going to get us started. The point of this little exercise is there aren't that many good movies up through 1984. Gary Cooper's portrayal of Lou Gehrig in The Pride of the Yankees earned 11 Oscar nominations. The Bad News Bears earned a 300% return on its investment. And Robert Redford's Roy Hobbs knocked the lights out in The Natural in 1984. And really, that's it. Those are the only movies that had sold up to that point. Of the 58 feature films released between 1915 and 1987, Hollywood produced 3 money-making baseball movies. That's a fatal 5% success rate for the genre over 72 years. This assumption, baseball movies don't sell, is one example of what Hollywood studio heads got paid for. Now, as leaders in your own business, your business assumptions are also what you get paid for. Business guru Dr. Peter Drucker argued that assumptions, whether explicit or implied, act as the cornerstone of any corporate strategy. These leader-driven assumptions, Drucker wrote, shape your employees' views of your company, your customers, and your competition. If a company is to grow and evolve with its market, every assumption must be challenged, tested, and eventually updated. No set of business assumptions should last forever. Let me repeat that. No set of business assumptions should last forever. When the managing editor at SBC Magazine mentioned an interest in collaborating on a sales article, I was curious. I said, what sales content resonated in the past? What didn't? I quickly learned in the component manufacturing industry, apparently, they had arrived at the assumption that the craft of selling, as a general topic, was less a priority than most other business fundamentals. Now, personally, and somewhat unsurprisingly, I argue that this assumption must be tested now in light of recent achievements, rapid growth, and unexpected successes and failures in the housing industry. According to Drucker, these 3 developments are early warning signals that indicate your assumptions, the assumptions that you get paid for, warrant further examination. Let's start with the achievement of objectives. If constant demand for your products and services over the past decade has resulted in the achievement of your sales objectives, has it also created, potentially, complacent salespeople? Complacent salespeople take orders, manage existing accounts, and build relationships through what I call the WTF model: whiskey, tickets, and fishing. Now, these activities are important, sure, but they are different than selling. You can anticipate your salespeople desire autonomy. You can also anticipate their resistance to accountability. And if your compensation plan rewards babysitting loyal customers and agreeing to multiple change orders at no cost, don't be surprised when salespeople do just that. Behaviors drive culture. Leaders are responsible for modeling the behaviors that drive a high-performance sales culture. After the achievement of objectives, the next time to challenge assumptions is when you have rapid growth. Builders have seen rapid growth despite the lack of skilled labor, unprecedented commodity price volatility, and supply chain disruption, to name just 3 of their pain points. Now, this is a seller's dream. Why? Because sales is fundamentally about helping. The craft of selling is built upon meaningful conversations about long-term goals and the potential fit between two organizations to achieve them. Now let's take a quick break to hear from one of our sponsors. You want a supplier that works for you, delivering convenience on your terms, not theirs. Boise Cascade does that by being faster, stronger, and easier. Stronger is better. From the strength of their industry-leading Versalam to their uncompromising commitment to do the right thing, you can build your business on the strength of Boise Cascade. Boise Cascade also makes a tough job easier. More than just wood, their integrated system seamlessly connects software, service, and product, all backed by a no-hassle warranty that keeps your framers, not your lawyers, no, not the lawyers, on the job. So faster, stronger, easier. It's not just what Boise Cascade does, it's who they are. Yeah, sure, being in the ballpark with price is important, but it shouldn't be the starting point, unless you allow it to be. Competing on price is a strategic choice. It's a choice your salespeople make every time they interact with customers and prospects. If you choose to compete on value, not price, then you must act accordingly. If you don't properly value yourself, don't expect your customers to either. So after the achievement of objectives and rapid growth, there's a third/fourth time that you should really look to challenge your assumptions. And this is when you have unexpected success or failure. Simply and memorably, your sales professionals must articulate a story of how you are better and different. Your story is far more effective, of course, if your salespeople actually believe it. When a competitor like Entekra sells a quote-unquote new story, it's unsurprising to hear industry veterans scoff, "So what? We've been doing that since 1958. So, begs the question, is FIOS, however you pronounce that, F-I-O-S-S, FIOS, is that better or different? You know what I think? Who cares? The fact that you know it's a thing, and more importantly, that builders know it's a thing, is proof that story is selling.
Despite the fact that he'd been working as a stick framer in the United States, when he came back to Ireland, it never even crossed his mind that you would actually build a wood frame house on a building site. So he built a factory to start making wood frame houses in 1964. So I've been sort of directly or indirectly connected with the offset industry for that period of time. So I also want to put this back to slight disagreement with what Michael put it. Offsite construction has been around for a long time, and it has been very, very successful in other parts of the world. It's North America that's the issue. It's not offsite construction.
If you reluctantly consider Entekra and the $45 million investment from Louisiana Pacific an unexpected success, what do you think about Katerra? With a burn rate that torched $2 billion, SoftBank stepped in to provide an additional $200 million. Twice in the same year. That's just crazy. Now, you can interpret that however you want, i.e., is it expected or unexpected? Is that a success or a failure? Well, it's up to you. But you must recognize the market is telling you something important about the industry and the future of building. So how do we test an assumption? Well, in the 11 months from June of 1988 to May of 1989, 3 baseball movies were released. That's right. In the 11 months from June of 1988 to May of 1989, 3 baseball movies were released, despite only 3 movies being halfway decent in the previous 70-plus years. Here's a clip from each. I'd like to see if you can name each one.
Hey, anybody says anything bad about Millie, I break his neck.
Excuse me, guys, I got a game to pitch here.
Mira, una brujería, yo no sé. Hey, you guys, don't throw me anything. My girlfriend put a curse on my glove.
I'll take the hex off the glove. Give me the glove.
Well, then you gotta cut the head off a live rooster.
Well, you may run like Mays, but you hit like With your speed, you should hit the ball on the ground and be legging them out. Every time I see you hit one in the air, you owe me 20 push-ups.
No problem.
Ray, people will come, Ray. They'll come to Iowa for reasons they can't even fathom. They'll turn up your driveway, not knowing for sure why they're doing it. They'll arrive at your door as innocent as children, longing for the past. Of course, we won't mind if you look around, you'll say. It's only $20 per person.
All of these were literal home runs. Collectively, these films earned a combined $183 million in profit. And of course, they were, in order, Bull Durham, Major League, and Field of Dreams. Now you can imagine a preceding conversation among intelligent studio leaders at the time. Now, wait a minute, Bob. How do we know this assumption is still true? And then the old, quiet, grizzled executive in the crumpled suit speaks up. He says, "Let me tell you, when I released the comedy Slide Kelly Slide back in 1927, Louis B. Mayer, the man himself, he grabbed me by the jugular and bellowed, 'Women hate baseball, you no-talent hack. You ignored half of my movie-paying public. Do it ever again, and you'll never work in this town again.'" Eyes closed, chin buried in his chest, shaking his head in shame, the old man whispers, "Baseball movies don't sell. Everybody knows that." Well, turns out women enjoy a good story with good acting, even if it's about baseball. In Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner's character, Ray Kinsella, hears a voice among his Iowa corn stalks. "If you build it, they will come." Now that's Hollywood magic. In reality, you need an intentional sales strategy and a relentless focus on the craft of selling. You need to commit to sales as intently as you do operations. Success breeds complacency, and an order-taking commodity mindset is a race to the bottom, and changing that sales culture, well, it starts at the top. So here's how you take the next step. My purpose in these columns is to challenge the assumptions about sales in our industry. So I'm offering ideas and insights to improve sales performance. And the most common ailments in sales are somewhat predictable. No consistent sales process, salespeople who spend too little time actually selling, a sales story that lacks differentiation, a focus on price instead of value, and goals, compensation, and accountability that are either misaligned or entirely absent. So in future articles that you will also hear as episodes, we're going to address each one of these as we've been doing, all right? In this case, there's a next step. You can go to behindyourbacksales.com/tools, and you can download a one-page PDF that will help you document and share your leadership assumptions. It's up to you and your team to consider if your assumptions about your company, your customers, and your competitors are still accurate. So as always, thank you for listening. If you have challenges you want me to discuss or builder scenarios you're struggling with, anything along those lines, do not hesitate to reach out directly to me, Bradley, at behindyourbacksales.com. I'd love to hear more. You can link up with me on LinkedIn, and you can connect on Instagram at BehindYourBackCEO. I want to thank our sponsors. You can learn more about Boise Cascade's engineered wood products and their innovative Sawtech technology by visiting bc.com/EWP. And I want to thank our friends at Materials Exchange. What E-Trade is for the stock market, Materials Exchange is to the LBM industry. They make commodity pricing transparent, buying simple, and the fees are low. You can register today at Materials Exchange and use the promo code BRADLEY, BRADLEY, to get your first trade free. So as always, thank you for your time and attention. I hope you found this helpful, and hopefully, if I can play on the pun, this might help in some small way, help you knock it out of the park. So as always, you, my friend, you're owed nothing. Deliver value first.